This is a new statement from the Oregon Conference. And what is it about? Churches within the Oregon Conference are required to get conference approval, before anyone can speak in their congregation. I'm going to share with you the letter right now, so please pay attention to what you find on your screens. The letter says, Oregon Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, March 25. Dear Pastor, thank you for your intentionality and care in coordinating worship services and evangelism events in your local church. Below you will find the expectations and parameters for guest speakers in the local church. Pastors and local churches are expected to cooperate with these guidelines when inviting people to speak in local churches. So we have here in-conference speakers. When a church desires to have an in-conference speaker to take the pulpit, they will need to be sure the speaker is on our approved speakers list, provided by request from ministerial. When a speaker wants to be on the list of approved speakers, they will need to fill out the speaker application form. They will also need to participate in a background check to be included in the approved speakers list. The speaker application also includes some guidelines for our speakers to ensure consistency, balance, and gospel focus when anyone takes the pulpit in a church in our conference. Once a speaker fills out the application in full, they will need to send it to ministerial, where the vetting process will be completed. Out of conference speakers. All speakers from outside of the Oregon Conference must be cleared through the Office of the Vice President of Administration. Thank you in advance for your cooperation with our speaker approval guidelines. God bless you as you minister locally for Jesus and His kingdom. That was from the Oregon Conference. And the question is, why is the Oregon Conference doing this? Is it that they want to protect the church members from false preachers? This is not only happening within the Oregon Conference. It's also elsewhere, like the Potomac Conference. In some conferences, especially within the North American division, speakers, especially from outside of the conference, need to get approval from the conference before they can come in and speak in any of the churches there. Yes, it's happening in some conferences. And now the Oregon Conference wants to do the same. But friends, sometimes some conferences abuse this. They use this as a barrier to prevent some speakers from entering into their territory. I think 2 years ago, I made a story about this same thing from the Potomac Conference, when Pastor Stephen Ball was not approved to speak, all because he did not support women's ordination. Personally, what I want to say about this is that those that will approve the speakers must not only be conference employees. This is my personal opinion. I think some lay members must be part of the board. Some local church elders must be part of the board. Would the Oregon Conference approve Dr. Conrad Vine to speak in the church? A question. Will the Oregon Conference approve Pastor Ron Kelly to preach in any of the churches under the conference? Just a question. Friends, let me know what you think about the letter of the Oregon Conference. Write in the comment. Please make sure you share your thoughts. Type in there in the comment. This is all that I had to share with you today. Your brother Lawrence here. See you next time. God bless.
In our journey through the Great Controversy, we have now come to what seems to be the darkest time for God's people. But even here, God sheds His light. This time is described in Isaiah 26:20, where we read, "Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation is past." Here we see a time when God's people are universally threatened with imprisonment and even death if they do not bow down to the false day of worship, Sunday. We read in the Great Controversy, "As the decree issued by the various rulers of Christendom against commandment keepers shall withdraw the protection of government and abandon them to those who desire their destruction, the people of God will flee from the cities and villages and associate together in companies, dwelling in the most desolate and solitary places." But, the inspired author continues, "Many of all nations and of all classes, high and low, rich and poor, black and white, will be cast into the most unjust and cruel bondage. The beloved of God pass weary days, bound in chains, shut in by prison bars, sentenced to be slain, some apparently left to die of starvation in dark, loathsome dungeons. No human ear is open to hear their moans. No human hand is ready to lend them help." What a horrifying picture this is. If we look to our own strength, our hearts would certainly fail us for fear. But even though no one on earth can help, God will not forget His own. We have many encouraging examples in the Bible reminding us of how God takes care of His own. Think of Noah and his family, whom God preserved in the ark. Joseph in Egypt, when he was cast into prison for being faithful to God. Elijah, when Jezebel threatened to kill him. Jeremiah in the dark and dismal pit. There were the 3 faithful Hebrews in Babylon who would not bow down to Nebuchadnezzar's golden image, and Jesus walked with them in the fiery furnace. And of course, there's Daniel in the lion's den, who proclaimed, "My God sent His angel and shut the lions' mouths, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before Him." And besides these and many other examples, we have God's precious promises. In Isaiah 49, verses 15 to 16, He assures us, "Can a woman forget her nursing child and not have compassion on the son of her womb? Surely they may forget, yet I will not forget you. See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands." And in Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8, we are told, "He who touches you touches the apple of His eye." No, my friends, no matter how bad things get, Jesus will never leave us nor forsake us. Listen to this beautiful description of God's presence with His people during the time of trouble. "Though enemies may thrust them into prison, yet dungeon walls cannot cut off the communication between their souls and Christ. One who sees their every weakness, who is acquainted with every trial, is above all earthly powers, and angels will come to them in lonely cells, bringing light and peace from heaven. The prison will be as a palace, for the rich in faith dwell there, and the gloomy walls will be lighted up with heavenly light." My brothers and sisters, Jesus is coming soon. When we see these things happening, we can rest assured that He is near, even at the doors. Let's pray together.